The red warning lights flashed across the control room of Harmony Base. Hannah dropped her cooking spoon and ran to the nearest window. Outside, the space around their small mining station glowed with angry orange light. The solar storm had arrived. All crew to emergency stations. Bark Woo-jin's voice echoed through the speakers. The station commander sounded calm, but Hannah could hear the worry in his voice. Hannah was not a pilot or an engineer. She was just the cook. But she knew what this meant. The storm would knock out their power. Their communication systems would fail, and they would be stuck here, alone in the dark space between stars. She grabbed her emergency kit and headed to the main control room. The other crew members were already there. Kim Dae-ho, the security chief, was checking his weapons. Choi Min-ae sat at the communication desk, trying to send out a distress signal. "How bad is it?" Hannah asked. Bad Woo-jin said. "The storm hit. Harder than we expected. Main power is down. Backup power won't last more than a week." "What about the rescue ship?" Not asked. "They can't reach us until the storm passes," Min-ae said. "That could be days, maybe weeks." Hannah nodded. Been through emergencies before? Growing up on a farming planet, she learned that bad things happened. But people survived if they worked together and stayed calm. The next 3 days were hard. They saved power by turning off all non-essential systems. They ate cold food and wore thick coats inside the station. But they were alive, and that was what mattered. On the 4th day, everything changed. Hannah was in the kitchen, preparing a simple meal when the station shook. Not like the gentle vibrations from the mining equipment. This was something big hitting the station. "What was that?" she called out. Dae-ho's voice came over the intercom. "Something just crashed near the south airlock. Something big," Hannah joined. The others at the observation deck. Through the thick glass, she could see a massive shape lying on the asteroid surface. It was hard to see clearly in the dim emergency lighting, but it was definitely alive, and it was definitely not human. "Is that a ship?" Min-ae asked. "No," Woo-jin said quietly. "That's a creature." The thing was huge, lying on its side. It was taller than a human. Its body was covered in dark scales that seemed to shift and move. Strange blue lights pulsed along its spine. "Oh no," Dae-ho whispered. "I think that's a Vorthok." Everyone went silent. Every person in the galaxy knew about Vorthoks. They were the monsters that lived in deep space. They hunted ships and ate crews. They were death itself with claws and teeth. "We need to kill it," Dae-ho said, "before it wakes up." "Wait," Hannah said. "Look at it, really look." The creature was breathing heavily.
Dark liquid
pooled around its body. Its breathing was rough and painful. "It's hurt," Hannah said. "Badly hurt." "Good," Dae-ho said. "That makes it easier to kill." "No," Hannah said firmly. "We don't kill injured animals. It's not who we are." "That's not an animal," Dae-ho said. "They're killers. They're killers. Right now it's just a hurt creature," Hannah said, "and hurt creatures need help, not harm." Woo-jin studied the creature through the window. "It's not moving toward us. It's just lying there. Because it's probably dying," Dae-ho said. "And when it gets desperate, it will try to break in here and eat us." Hannah shook her head. "I don't think so. Look at how it's positioned. Facing our airlock? It's facing away from us." "What does that mean?" Min-ae asked. "Animals do that when they're afraid," Hannah said. "They don't want to seem threatening. They're trying to show they're not a danger."
You're crazy,
Dae-ho said. "Vorthoks don't get afraid. They're the thing that everything else is afraid of." But Hannah was thinking about her childhood. Her family had a farm with many different animals. She learned to read their body language. She learned to tell when an animal was scared, hurt, or angry. And this creature, this Vorthok, was showing all the signs of fear and pain. "I'm going to leave some food outside," Hannah said. "Absolutely not," Dae-ho said. "You're not going outside." "I'm not going outside," Hannah said. "We have an emergency food chute that leads to the area right outside the south airlock." "Yeah, no?" Woo-jin said, "If you feed it, it might decide to stay. If I don't feed it, it might die," Hannah said. "And I don't want that on my conscience." "Better its death than ours," Dae-ho said. Hannah looked at her friends. These were good people, were scared, and scared people sometimes made bad choices. But she knew what felt right. I'm going to put some food scraps in the chute, she said. If it eats them, then it was hungry. If it doesn't, then no harm done. This is a mistake, Deho said. Maybe, Hannah said.
What?
But it's my mistake to make. Went to the kitchen and gathered some leftover meat and bread. The food wasn't much, but it was something. She went to the emergency chute and put the food inside. Then she pressed the button that would shoot the food outside. Through the window. She watched the small package land near the creature. The Vorthok didn't move for a long time. Then slowly its great head lifted. It looked at the food, then at the station. Hannah stepped back from the window, but she kept watching. The creature moved very slowly, dragging itself toward the food. It sniffed the package carefully. Then it ate everything quickly. When it was done, the creature looked directly at the station. Hannah couldn't see its eyes clearly, but she felt like it was looking right at her. Then it moved back to its original position and lay down again. It ate the food, Minay said. And it didn't try to attack us, Woojin said. Yet, Deho added. But Hannah was thinking about something else. The creature had looked at the station after eating, not with anger or hunger, with something that looked almost like gratitude. I think, Hannah said slowly, we might have just made a friend, or trained a monster to expect food from us, Deho said. I guess we'll find out, Hannah said. Outside, the Vorthok settled down to rest. And for the first time since the storm hit, Hannah felt like maybe everything would be okay. For 5 days, Hannah fed the Vorthok. Every morning, she put food scraps in the emergency chute. Every morning, the creature ate them. And every morning it looked at the station with those strange, intelligent eyes. The crew had started calling it Baram, which meant wind in Korean. Minay had suggested the name because of how quietly the massive creature moved, despite its size. It's like watching a dance, Minay said, standing beside Hannah at the observation window. See how carefully it moves? It's trying not to scare us. You're both crazy, Deho said from across the room. It's a Vorthok. They don't care about scaring people. They care about eating people. But Hannah wasn't listening to Deho anymore. She was watching Baram. The creature had healed quickly. Over the past few days, the dark liquid had stopped flowing from its wounds. It could stand fully upright now, and it was even more impressive than she had first thought. Baram stood 12 feet tall. His body was covered in dark scales that shifted from black to deep blue depending on the light. Strange markings along. His spine glowed with soft blue light. His head was long and narrow, with eyes that seemed too intelligent for a simple predator. Captain Minay said suddenly, I'm getting a signal. Ship is approaching. Woojin rushed to the communication console. The rescue ship? No, Minay said. It's smaller, and it's coming from the inner systems. Through the window, Hannah could see Baram's reaction to the approaching ship. The creature's head turned upward, and the blue lights on his spine began to pulse faster. He senses it too, Hannah said. The ship landed near the station. A single figure in a spacesuit walked toward their airlock. Woojin went to meet the visitor while the others watched from the control room. The newcomer was a young Korean man with kind eyes and an excited expression. He introduced himself as Oh Sung-min, a xenobiologist from the Galactic University. I came as soon as I heard, Sung-min said. You've made contact with a Vorthok? We fed it, Hannah said simply. It was hungry. Sung-min's eyes went wide. Fed it, and it didn't attack? It hasn't even tried to get into the station, Woojin said. Just stays outside and eats the food we give it. This is incredible, Sung-min said. May I see it? They led him to the observation deck. When Sung-min saw Baram, he gasped. It's beautiful, he said. Look at those markings, the bioluminescence, and the way it carries itself. It's a killer, Deho said. Sung-min said, we're learning that Vortheks are much more complex than we thought. They're not just predators. They're pack hunters with advanced social structures. They form lifelong bonds with their family groups. What does that mean? Hannah asked. Means they're intelligent. Very intelligent. And they have emotions. They can feel loyalty, grief, joy. As they watched, Bahram moved toward the station. But instead of approaching the airlock, he went to a different area. He began digging in the asteroid's surface. "What's he doing?" Minnie asked. "I'm not sure," Seungmin said, "but it looks purposeful." Watched as Bahram carefully dug up something from the ground. It was a chunk of blue crystal, the same color as the lights on his spine. "That's rare mineral," Woojin said. "Worth a fortune." Bahram carried the crystal to the area near the food chute. He placed it down carefully, then stepped back. "He's giving us a gift," Seungmin said, amazed. "Why would he do that?" Hannah asked. "Pack behavior," Seungmin said. "When Vortex want to show appreciation or strengthen bonds, they bring gifts." "To their packmates?" "Packmates?" Daeho said. "We're not his pack." "To him, you might be," Seungmin said, "especially Hannah. She's been feeding him." In Vorthok culture, sharing food is how pack bonds are formed. Hannah felt a strange flutter in her chest. She looked at Bahram, who was now sitting near his gift, watching the station. "He thinks I'm his pack sister?" she asked. "It's possible," Seungmin said. "This is all new territory. No one has ever formed a peaceful relationship with a Vorthok before." That evening, everything changed. Hannah was preparing dinner when the station's alarms started blaring. Daeho's voice came over the intercom.
Oh.
3 ships approaching fast. They're not responding to our signals." "Pirates?" Woojin asked. "Has to be," Daeho said. "They're heading straight for us." Hannah ran to the observation deck with the others. 3 sleek black ships were approaching the station. They moved with the aggressive speed of predators. "They're after the mining equipment," Woojin said. "The rare metals we've been extracting, can we fight them?" Minnie asked. "With what?" Daeho said. "We have small arms. They have ship weapons." Outside, Bahram had noticed the approaching ships. The creature stood tall, and his spine lights began flashing in rapid patterns. "He's agitated," Seungmin said. "Very agitated." The pirate ships landed roughly near the station. Armed figures poured out, heading for the airlocks. "They're going to break in," Woojin said. "Not if I can help it," Daeho said, grabbing his weapon. But before anyone could move, Bahram did something unexpected. He let out a sound unlike anything they had heard before. It was deep, resonant, and filled with power. The sound seemed to shake the very air around them. The pirates stopped, moving. They looked around, confused and frightened. Then Bahram moved. Hannah had thought the creature was graceful before, but now she saw what a Vorthok could really do. Bahram flowed across the asteroid's surface like liquid shadow. He was faster than anything. That big should be able to move. The first pirate didn't even have time to scream. Bahram's claws, which Hannah had barely noticed before, extended to their full length. They were as long as swords and sharper than any blade. The pirate's weapon was cut in half before he could fire it. "Oh my God," Minnie whispered. The other pirates tried to run, but Bahram was everywhere at once. He moved between them like a deadly wind, his claws and teeth finding their targets with terrifying precision. In less than 2 minutes, it was over. The pirates were dead, and Bahram stood among their bodies. His spine lights pulsed slowly, and he looked up at the station. "He protected us," Hannah said, barely believing it. "Protected you," Seungmin corrected. "You're his pack. Members protect each other." Bahram walked to the food chute area and sat down. He looked at the station with those intelligent eyes, as if to say, "Your enemies are gone. You are safe." "I don't think we're dealing with a simple predator," Woojin said quietly. "No," Hannah agreed. "I think we're dealing with a friend." Outside, Bahram settled down to rest, keeping watch over his new pack. And inside the station, Hannah realized that everything she thought she knew about the galaxy's most feared creature was wrong. Word traveled fast in the galaxy. Within a week, everyone knew about the human cook who had befriended a Vorthok. Ships began arriving at Harmony Base almost daily. The first to arrive was Kong Hyanwu, a diplomat from the Galactic Alliance. He was a tall man with sharp eyes and an expensive suit. He looked at Bahram through the observation window like he was studying a weapon. "This changes everything," Hyanwu said to Woojin. "Ah, do you understand what you have here, friend?" Hannah said simply. Hyeon-woo turned to her. You're the one who made contact? I fed him when he was hungry, Hannah said. That's all? That's not all, Hyeon-woo said. You've created the first peaceful relationship between humans and Vortex in galactic history. This could revolutionize space travel, trade routes, military strategy. I just gave him food, Hannah repeated. The next visitor was Song Ji-ai, a military xenopsychologist. She was a serious woman with cold eyes who asked many questions about Baram's behavior. How does it respond to commands? Dean asked. I don't give him commands, Hannah said. We're not master and pet, we're friends. But surely you could train it to follow orders. I won't do that, Hannah said firmly. Gian frowned. Think about the military applications. Vorthok ally could end wars before they start. Baram isn't a weapon, Hannah said. He's a person. It's an animal, Gian said. No, Seungmin interrupted. My research shows that Vorthax have complex language, art, and culture. They're as intelligent as any species in the galaxy. During this conversation, Baram had been bringing more gifts. Each day he would dig up rare minerals or strange artifacts from the asteroid and place them near the food chute. The pile was growing larger. He's building a hoard, Seungmin explained. It's another pack behavior. Vortex collect valuable items to share with their family groups. So we're definitely his pack now? Min asked. It seems so, Seungmin said, especially Hannah. She's clearly the pack leader in his mind. How can you tell? Hannah asked. Watch how he positions himself when you're at the window, Seungmin said. Hannah looked outside. When she appeared at the observation window, Baram would turn to face her directly. His spine lights would pulse in a steady, calm pattern, showing submission to pack hierarchy, Seungmin said. You're his alpha. I don't want to be anyone's alpha, Hannah said. You don't have a choice, Seungmin said gently. You started this relationship, now you have to see it through. That night, something extraordinary happened. Hannah was working late in the kitchen when she heard a sound outside. Not the usual movement of Baram settling down for the night. Was different. Musical, she went to the window and gasped. Baram was making sounds unlike anything she had heard before. Deep, resonant tones that seemed to carry emotion. The sounds rose and fell in patterns that reminded her of singing. What's he doing? Monet asked, joining her at the window. I think he's singing, Hannah said. The song went on for several minutes. When it ended, Baram looked directly at the station. It made a softer sound. Then he lay down and went to sleep. He was singing to us, Hannah said in wonder. Pack bonding ritual, Seungmin said the next morning when they told him. Vortex sing to strengthen emotional connections with their families. So, he really does think of us as family, Hannah said. Without question, Seungmin said. 3 days later, everything changed again. Hannah was feeding Baram his morning meal when she noticed something on the horizon. Dark shapes moving against the stars. Captain, she called, you need to see this. Woo Jin. Daeho and the others joined her at the window. In the distance, they could see them clearly now. 5 massive shapes floating in space near the asteroid field. More Vortex, Daeho said, his voice tight with fear. A whole pack, Seungmin said. They must have been drawn by Baram's singing. Outside, Baram had noticed the newcomers too. He stood tall, and his spine lights began flashing in rapid, complex patterns. Da. He's communicating with them, Seungmin said. What's he saying? Anna asked. I don't know, Seungmin said. But look at there. Body language. The 5 Warthoks had arranged themselves in a wide circle around the station, but they weren't approaching. They were just floating there, watching. They're not attacking, Woojin said. They're not even moving toward us, Monet added. Baram made a series of deep, booming calls. The other Vorthoks responded with their own sounds. The conversation went on for several minutes. Then something amazing happened. The 5 Vortex began to move away from the station. They floated backward, keeping their distance, until they were barely visible against the stars. They're leaving, Hannah said. But why? Daeho asked. Because Baram told them to. Seungmin said. He told them this territory is protected. Protected by what? Woojin asked. By his pack bond with Hannah, Sungmin said. In Vorthok society, when someone is adopted into a pack, they gain the protection of all pack members. But more than that, they gain the respect of other packs. So they're not attacking us because of Hannah, Minnie asked. Exactly, Sungmin said. She's under Vorthok protection now. Attacking her would be like attacking one of their own. Hannah looked out at Baram, who was now sitting calmly near his gift pile. He looked back at her with those intelligent eyes. Do you understand what this means? Yuanwu asked, having overheard. The conversation. You're the first human to gain Vorthok protection. This could change everything. How? Hannah asked. Trade routes that were too dangerous because of Vorthok attacks could be reopened, Hyan-Wu said. Exploration of new systems. The economic implications alone are staggering. I still just think of him as a friend, Hannah said. A friend who has just made you the most important human in the galaxy, Hyan-Wu said. That evening, Hannah sat by the window, watching Baram. The creature was arranging his gifts in careful patterns. When he finished, he looked up at her and made a soft, questioning sound. I think he wants to know if you approve, Sungmin said. Hannah pressed her hand against the window. Baram stood and approached. He placed his massive clawed hand against the glass, opposite hers. Pack bond, Sungmin whispered. Complete pack bond. Through the glass, Hannah could feel the warmth of Baram's hand. And for the first time, she truly understood what had happened. She hadn't just fed a hungry creature. She had gained a brother, a protector, a friend who would stand beside her against anything the galaxy could throw at them. What happens now? She asked. Sungmin said, the real adventure begins. The news spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Within 2 weeks, Harmony Base was surrounded by ships. News crews, government officials, scientists, corporate executives, all wanted to see the human who had tamed a Vorthok. Hannah hated the attention. She especially hated when people said she had tamed Baram. I didn't tame him, she told the reporters. We're friends. That's different. But the reporters didn't listen. They wrote stories about the human who conquered the galaxy's deadliest predator. They made holovids showing Hannah giving commands to a computer-generated Vorthok. They turned her simple act of kindness into something it wasn't. The worst visitor was Yun Tai-Yon, corporate executive from Megacorp Industries. He was a fat man with greedy eyes and expensive clothes. He looked at Baram like he was seeing piles of money. I want to buy your contract, Tae-hung told Hannah. I don't have a contract, Hannah said. Everyone has a contract, Tae-hung said. I'm prepared to offer you 50 million credits to work for my company. Doing what? Training Vorthex, of course, Tae-young said. Think about it. Could have Vorthek guards for our cargo ships. Vorthok hunters for our mining operations. The possibilities are endless. No, Hannah said firmly. 100 million, Tae-hung said. No. 200 million. I said no. Hannah shouted. Barem isn't a slave. He's not property. He's a person. With feelings and thoughts. It's an animal, Tae-hun said. A dangerous animal that you've managed to control. It's worth a fortune. Get out, Hannah said. You're making a mistake, Tae-young said. If you won't work with me, I'll find other ways to get what I want. After he left, Hannah felt sick. She went to the observation window to see Baram. The sight of her friend made her feel better. Baram was teaching her things. She realized not with words, but with actions. He showed her how Vorthax communicated through the patterns of their spine lights. He demonstrated their hunting techniques by stalking small asteroid creatures. He even showed her Vorthok art by arranging his gifts in beautiful, complex patterns. He's sharing his culture with you, Sungmin said. This is incredible. We're learning more about Vorthok society from watching Baram than from decades of research. What have you learned? Anna asked. They're not just hunters, Sungmin said. They're artists, engineers, and philosophers. Look at how precisely he arranges those minerals. There's mathematical beauty in those patterns. You mean they're actually more advanced than we thought? It's much more advanced, Sungmin said. I think we've been wrong about Vorthax for centuries. They're not mindless predators. They're a sophisticated species that we never took the time to understand. The next visitor was different. Lim Soyoung was a quiet woman who worked for the Galactic Rights Organization. She watched Bahram with respect, not greed. I want to help, Soyoung told Hannah. Help how? I want to make sure your friend is protected, Soyoung said. There are already people planning to capture him, to study him, to use him. They can't do that, Hannah said. They can if the Galactic Council declares Vorthax to be non-sentient animals, Soyoung said. Right now there's a big debate happening. Some people want to classify Vorthax as intelligent beings with rights. Others want to keep them classified as dangerous animals. What? What's the difference? If they're animals, anyone can capture them. Experiment on them, or kill them, Soyoung said. They're intelligent beings. They have rights. Protection under galactic law. How do we prove they're intelligent? We need more evidence, Soyoung said. More examples of Vorthok culture, language, and art. That night, Hannah had an idea. She went to the food chute and put in Barium's usual meal, but this time she also put in a piece of paper with a simple drawing on it. A stick figure of a human and a Vorthok standing together. The next morning, the drawing was gone. In its place was a piece of asteroid rock with markings carved into it. The markings showed the same image, a human and a Vorthok, but the carving was incredibly detailed and beautiful. He understood, Sungmin said, amazed. He not only understood what your drawing meant, but he responded with his own artwork. Does this prove he's intelligent? Hannah asked. It's a start, Soyoung said. Over the next few days, Hannah and Bahram began a strange form of communication. She would leave simple drawings or objects in the food chute. He would return them with his own interpretations. Each exchange was more complex than the last. When Hannah left a drawing of the solar system, Bahram returned a carved map showing star routes that human ships had never discovered. When she left a picture of mathematical equations, he returned a rock with even more advanced mathematics carved into it. He's not just intelligent, Sungmin said. He's brilliant. These mathematical concepts are beyond what most humans understand. So why do Vorthax attack ships? Hannah asked. I don't think they do, Sungmin said. I think we've been misunderstanding them. What do you mean? Think about it, Sungmin said. Vorthoks live in deep space. They travel between stars. When they encounter a human ship, what do they see? I don't know. They see an unknown vessel in their territory, Sungmin said. They investigate. But humans see a Vorthok approaching and immediately assume it's an attack, so they shoot first. You're saying the attacks are accidents? I'm saying they're misunderstandings, Sungmin said. Both sides are acting on fear and false assumptions. 3 days later, Tae-hung returned. But this time, he didn't come alone. He brought a dozen armed mercenaries with him. I told you I'd find other ways, Tae-young said to Hannah. If you won't work with me, I'll take your pet and find someone who will. Can't do that, Woojin said. But watch me, Tae-young said. My mercenaries have tranquilizer weapons designed specifically for large alien creatures. Your Vorthok will be unconscious in minutes. He's not my pet, Hannah said angrily. He's my friend. He's about to be my property, Tae-hung said. Mercenaries moved toward the airlocks. Hannah ran to the observation window and saw them approaching Bahram. The creature was sitting peacefully, unaware of the danger. Bahram, Hannah shouted, pressing her hands against the glass. Run! Bahram heard her voice and looked up. He saw the armed figures approaching and immediately understood the threat. But instead of running, he stood tall and faced them. The mercenaries fired their tranquilizer weapons. But Bahram was faster than they expected. He dodged most of the shots, but 2 darts hit him in the side. No, Hannah screamed. But Bahram wasn't giving up. Even with the drugs in his system, he fought back. Extended, and he moved toward the mercenaries with deadly purpose. He's protecting himself, Sungmin said. He's protecting you. The fight was brief, but intense. Bahram's training as a pack hunter made him more than a match for the mercenaries, even while drugged. Within minutes, half of them were down, but more tranquilizer darts were hitting their target. Bahram was slowing down, stumbling. We have to help him, Hannah said. How? Daeho asked. I don't know, Hannah said. But we can't just watch them take him. Then something unexpected happened. The remaining mercenaries suddenly stopped firing. Were looking up at the sky with expressions of terror. "What's wrong with them?" Minay asked. Hannah looked up and saw what the mercenaries were seeing. 5 massive shapes were descending from space. The same pack of Vorthics that had visited before. "They came back," Hannah whispered. "They came to help," Sungmin said. "Pack members protect each other." The 5 Vorthoks landed around the mercenaries. They didn't attack immediately. Instead, they made deep, threatening sounds that seemed to shake the very air. The mercenaries dropped their weapons and ran to their ship. Tae-hung was already there, shouting orders to take off immediately. "This isn't over," Tae-hung yelled as his ship lifted off. "I'll be back with more men." But Hannah wasn't listening to him. She was watching Baram. The drugs were wearing off, and the other Vorthoks were helping him stand. "Pack loyalty," Sungmin said. "They'll always come when he needs them." "And they'll always protect me too," Hannah said, understanding, "because I'm Pack now." "Yes," Sungmin said. "You are." Outside, the 6 Vorthoks stood together, watching the space where Tae-hung's ship had disappeared. They had sent a clear message. Hannah was under their protection. Anyone who tried to hurt her or Baram would face the entire pack. "What happens?" "Now," Hannah asked. "Now," Sa-young said, "we use this as evidence. Show the galaxy that Vorthics are intelligent, loyal, and capable of complex emotions. We prove they deserve rights. And if we can't, then we keep fighting," So-young said, "because that's what friends do." Hannah looked at Baram and his pack. They looked back at her with those intelligent eyes. In that moment, she knew that no matter what happened, she would never be alone again. She had found her place in the galaxy, and it was with her new family. 2 months later, everything changed again. That this time. The change came from space itself. Hannah was teaching Baram to understand human writing when the emergency alarms started blaring. She ran to the control room where everyone was staring at the long-range sensors in shock. "What is it?" Hannah asked. "Ships," Woojin said quietly. "Hundreds of them." On the main screen, they could see a massive fleet approaching their sector. But these weren't human ships. They were organic-looking vessels that seemed to pulse with the same blue light as Baram's spine markings. "Orthox ships," Sungmin said. "An entire fleet? Are they coming to attack?" Minay asked. Outside, Baram and his pack were responding to the approaching fleet. Their spine lights were flashing in rapid, complex patterns. They were clearly communicating with the newcomers. "I don't think they're attacking," Hannah said. "Look at Baram. He's not acting defensive. He's acting excited." The fleet stopped just outside the asteroid field. The ships arranged themselves in a careful formation, not threatening, but clearly organized. "They're waiting for something," Sungmin said. That's when Jung Hanul arrived. She was a member of the Galactic Council, a middle-aged woman with kind eyes and a calm voice. She had been following Hannah's story and wanted to meet her in person. "I came as soon as I heard about the fleet," Hanul said. "This is the largest gathering of Vorthics in recorded history." "What do they want?" Hannah asked. "Think they want to talk," Hanul said. "I think you're the only one who can help them do it." Through the window, they could see a single Vorthok approaching the station. But this one was different from any they had seen before. It was larger than Baram, with more elaborate markings and what looked like decorative elements attached to its body. "A leader," Sungmin said. "That has to be a pack leader." The large Vorthok stopped near Baram and made a series of deep, complex sounds. Baram responded, then looked toward the station. He made the soft sound that Hannah had learned. Meant he wanted her attention. "He's calling for you," Sungmin said. "What should I do?" "Go talk to them," Hanul said. "But not alone. I'll come with you." "You want to go outside?" Hannah asked. "With the Vortex. If we're going to build a relationship between our species, someone has to take the first step," Hanul said. "And you've already proven that it's possible." 30 minutes later, Hannah found herself in a spacesuit, walking across the asteroid's surface toward a group of the galaxy's most feared predators. Hanul walked beside her along. With Songmin and Sa-young, Baram met them halfway. He made reassuring sounds and positioned himself between Hannah and the larger Vorthok. It was clear he was introducing her. The pack leader studied Hannah for a long moment. Then it made a sound unlike anything she had heard before. It was musical, almost like singing, but with complex layers of meaning. "What did it say?" Hanel asked. "I don't know," Hannah said. But I think it was ... polite. Bahram made several sounds to the leader, then turned to Hannah. He pointed with one clawed hand toward the fleet. Then made the soft questioning sound she knew, meant he wanted to know if something was okay. "I think he's asking permission to bring his people here," Hannah said. "His people, the fleet," Hannah said. "I think they're refugees." Sung-min was scanning the leader with a portable device. "I'm reading massive energy signatures from the fleet. They're not weapons. They single quotes, life support systems." "What does that mean?" Hanel asked. "I think their home system is dying," Sung-min said. "They're looking for a new place to live." Pack leader made more sounds. This time Hannah could hear sadness in the musical tones. The creature gestured toward the fleet, then toward the distant stars. "They've been traveling for a long time," Hannah said, somehow understanding. "They're tired. They need somewhere safe to rest. But why come here?" Hanul asked. Bahram made several quick sounds to the leader, then looked at Hannah. He pressed his hand against his chest, then pointed to her. Then he made the sound she had learned meant family. "He told them about me," Hannah said. "He told them. About humans. He told them we could be trusted." The pack leader studied Hannah again. Then it did something extraordinary. It knelt down, bringing its massive head to Hannah's level. It made a soft, questioning sound. "I think it's asking for help," Hannah said. "What should we tell them?" Anu asked. Hannah looked at Bahram, then at the pack leader, then at the massive fleet waiting in space. These creatures weren't monsters. They were refugees, looking for a safe place to call home. "We tell them yes," Hannah said. The negotiations took 3 days. More ships arrived from across the galaxy. Government officials, military leaders, scientists, and corporate executives all wanted to be part of the historic first contact between humans and the Vorthok fleet. Hannah found herself in the middle of it all, translating not just words but intentions between the two species. Bahram helped, acting as a bridge between his pack leader and the humans. The Vorthoks, they learned, called themselves the Keepers of the Deep Roads. They were an ancient spacefaring race that had been traveling between stars for thousands of years. Their home system had been destroyed by a dying star, and they had been searching for a new home for decades. "They're not just refugees," Sung-min explained to the assembled officials. "They're master engineers. They know routes through space that we've never discovered. They have technology that could revolutionize space travel." "What do they want in return?" asked one of the military officials. "Safe harbor," Hanul translated from Hannah's conversations with the pack leader. "A place to rest and rebuild. They're offering to share their knowledge in exchange for peace and protection," Hannah added. "They want guarantees that they won't be hunted or captured." The debate went on for hours. Some officials were afraid. Others were greedy, wanting to exploit Vorthok technology. But Hanul and So-young fought for the rights of the refugees. "This is our chance to prove that we're better than our fears," Hanul said to the assembly. "These people, and yes, they are people, are asking for our help. How we respond will define what kind of species we are." In the end, the vote was close, but it passed. The Vorthoks were granted refugee status and the right to settle in uninhabited systems. In return, they would share their knowledge of space routes and technology. Most importantly, they would be recognized as intelligent beings. With full rights under galactic law, 6 months later, Hannah stood on the observation deck of a new research station. It was built as a joint project between humans and Vorthoks, a place where both species could work together and learn from each other. Her brother, Shin Dong-hain, had arrived the week before. He was a xenocultural studies student, and he was fascinated by Vorthok art and music. "Still can't believe you started all this by feeding a hungry creature," Dong-hyun said. "Sometimes the biggest changes start with the smallest acts of kindness," Hannah said. Through the window, they could see humans and Vorthoks working side by side. Children from both species played together in the station's gardens. Discoveries? Artists collaborated on new forms of beauty. Bahram approached the window from outside. He was now officially a galactic citizen, the first Vorthok to receive such status. But more than that, he was still Hannah's friend and pack brother. He made the soft sound that meant happy, then placed his hand against the window. Hannah pressed her hand against the glass, matching his gesture. "What's next?" Donghayan asked. "Exploration," Hannah said. "The Vortex know about star systems we've never seen, worlds that might harbor new forms of life. We're going to explore them together. And if we find other species that seem dangerous at first," Hannah smiled, "then we'll remember that sometimes the scariest-looking creatures just need someone to offer them food and friendship." A year later, the joint human-Vorthok exploration ship, New Harmony, prepared for its first mission to the unexplored outer reach. Captain Lee Hannah stood on the bridge. Watching as her mixed crew made final preparations, Bahram served as the ship's cultural liaison, helping to bridge any communication gaps between the species. His pack had joined the crew as navigators and engineers. "Ready for departure, Captain?" reported Lieutenant Kim Min-ae, now serving as the ship's communications. "Officer, take us out," Hannah said. As the ship moved away from the station, Hannah thought about how much had changed. A simple act of kindness had grown into something that transformed the galaxy. Humans and Vortex now worked together, exploring new worlds and helping other species they encountered. "Where to first, Captain?" asked Bahram in his carefully learned human speech. "Wherever the road takes us," Hannah said. Together, the ship jumped to hyperspace, carrying its mixed crew toward new adventures. Behind them, the research station continued its work of building bridges between species. And throughout the galaxy, other ships followed the new trade routes that the Vortex had shared, bringing prosperity and peace to worlds that had once lived in fear. It had all started with a cook who saw past her fear to offer food to a creature in need. Now that simple act of compassion was spreading across the stars, one friendship at a time.